Hi. Hi, how are you? Have we met? My name is Lana. I'm so glad you're here. I'm gonna try not to slam on my desk because I noticed in the last video I put my tea down. It was like, don't. I have a lot of energy today, so I'm gonna try to like channel it, but that's really good because it means I have things to say, which I'm excited about. I actually have notes. Who am I? Who am I for real? I don't even want to talk about any of this stuff, so I watched this amazing video by Harmony of the Spirit. Check out their channel. I don't know their gender because they're one of those people that makes videos and they don't show their face. They just use like AI voiceover and photos. And the video is great and it explained literally so much. So maybe I'll go through it, but I watched this video about like nonlinear time because, I'm a big fan of nonlinear time. I just wrote down clock who, literally. So, but something new has come up and I want to talk about it briefly. And it kind of ties into what I was talking or listening to in that video, which is this idea and this myth of you have to suffer to get what you want. In my previous video, hold on, turn this off, it's gonna bother me. In my previous video, I talked about how you can't have pleasure without pain. It's like a yin and a yang, and that is true. But your pain doesn't have to be as painful as you think. You know what I'm saying? And I think our pain is more and more painful the more we ignore it. Okay? That's very important to know. Your pain is more and more painful the more you ignore it. And that's the ignoring of your pain is actually, I think, what turns it into suffering. Suffering is prolonged pain without like a purpose, right? My amazing hypnotherapist, Dawn Landrum, check out her channel, Stop the Self-Sabotage podcast, great shit. She talks about giving your pain a purpose for progress, right? Like if you're gonna experience pain, which we all do, why not give it a purpose for progress? And so that's where I started like a lot of like where I'm at mentally, physically, in terms of like understanding and coping with my pain. In fact, I'm not just like coping with my pain, I am actually feeling my pain in the moment, and it's so uncomfortable. It's so raw. It's so tragic, but then you get through it, and it's really nice when you get through things. So 10 out of 10, give your pain a purpose for progress. Hold on, I gotta move my mouse. As you guys know, I don't edit my videos, and I've been seeing and the algorithm knows what's up. I've been seeing so many videos where it's like, why you should post on YouTube even if you have no subscribers. And I have like 200 subscribers here. I have 22,000 followers on TikTok. Slay. However, for what? Like, why do I have followers? And you can check out my other video about that where I'm like, TikTok's making me feel ill. It's not TikTok, it's me making myself feel ill. But it's like, I don't know, am I ready for fame? Am I ready for followers? And like, if I have followers, what are they following me for? And why am I a shepherd? Why am I a leader? I don't get it. And then earlier today, I was watching my older videos and I was like cute and I was funny. I was just like insecure, So you can be cute and funny and insecure and then you're not gonna like anything that you do. Now I'm more confident, but I'm like less cute. No, I'm cute. I'm still cute. Am I cute? I don't know. Don't tell me I'm cute or not. Don't leave a comment about that. Will you leave a comment? Like, is anybody gonna see this? It feels like, and I posted a video on my TikTok. Check it out. Where this was yesterday. I clipped this guy. His name is don't know. Sorry, I don't remember names very well. I remember energy. His energy is just like, guys, you need to do this. And I'm like, slay, absolutely. And one of the things he talked so eloquently about is the value of recording yourself talk and listening to yourself back. And that's why he started his YouTube channel, and he's seen exponential growth in his personal life and his personal growth than from any other spiritual practice he's done, he said, which is crazy to me. And I have to agree, like filming videos like I've done on my camera roll and in my laptop and and not sharing them, it's still valuable, but putting them on the internet, like I said, opens you up to the funhouse mirror. And that is where the fun really happens. That's where the work begins. But I'm sick of doing work. I'm just sick of calling it work. I want to call it play. Can I be done working? I just want to play. Why can't everything just be play? Like, that would be so much more fun. And that's where we're moving into 5D. So I want to talk briefly, like so briefly, about this vibe of like, and I've even started to do it. Did you notice? Where it's like, you know that the algorithm is going to bring you shit that it thinks you like, right? So just let the algorithm decide. So I get YouTube videos on my like For You page or my feed for YouTube videos, which are basically like saying like, if you're seeing this, you're ready. Or it's time to level up, you can do it. Or like, if you're seeing this, right, like it's your time. And it's because people are just like feeding into the algorithm. Like it could be everything you need right now, actually. And I find that a lot of the videos that I watch are accurate because I make them accurate. You know, it's all up here. But the video I watched today was talking about moving into 5D, from 3D to 5D. And I don't know if y'all are into that, but the idea is that we're moving from like separation and fear, control, manipulation, separation, all those horrible things into love, unity, and higher consciousness. And if that sounds like absolute bogus to you, then I don't know what to tell you, man. I mean, I guess I'll just give it more time, but time is not linear. So, you know, I had this conversation with my girlfriend earlier, which made me really, really passionate. So thank you to my girlfriend for that. And one of the things that came up was like, this idea that we have to suffer, this idea that we have to put in all this work. You know what I'm saying? Work. What's that? You know, like, why are we doing that? Why are we working so hard? It doesn't make sense. Like, if you're working hard for somebody else, what are you doing? What are you doing? Like, if you're working harder for someone else than you are on yourself or for yourself or with yourself, that would be a red flag for me in terms of how I'm living my life, because one of my very, very top values is inner harmony. And if I'm going to use the word slaving away. I know that's not really a PC term, but we are slaving away, you understand, for other people, right? There's like, 100 billionaires, maybe more, 500 billionaires. There's 8 billion people in the world that are working for like 10 people. You know what I'm saying? Ooh, not fun. And it's like, we can't stay here much longer. And this is the chaos that you're seeing. And that was what this whole video was about, that I was going to summarize, but I'm like, you can just go watch the video. I don't want to summarize somebody else's stuff. But the idea is like, and if you've studied any physics or nonlinear systems, it goes from order to chaos, kind of like a pendulum. And we're in a state of chaos, or we're moving towards a state of chaos. And what that means is that things look scary. Things look really scary. However, oh my gosh, I have to keep moving my mouse. I keep writing. Things look really scary. They really do. You look out your window and you're like, oh my God. War, natural disaster, death. It's all horrible. Yes, facts. However, I hate to say it, but this is like the equivalent of like when you do your own shadow work. How many of you have done your shadow work? Work, again with the word work. Shadow play, am I right? Play in the shadows. What we do in the shadows. Great show, watch it. So, I also smell like onions, and I keep getting a whiff of myself because I had French onion soup last night, and quite frankly, it wasn't that good, and it wasn't worth smelling like onions, but I noticed that if I eat onions and I sweat the next day, no matter what deodorant I use, I'm going to smell like onions. So that's pretty slay. Anyway, if you've done the shadow play, if you've played with your shadow, played in your shadow, played with your shadow, learned who your shadow is, you may learn some really, really not fun stuff about yourself. Things that you've been avoiding, things that you've been suppressing. It's going to feel gross. It's going to feel gross. Ooh, it was so gross for me. And for me, I luckily got to do it with the help of plant medicine, slay all day, which was a blessing and a curse, because when you do a hero's dose of shroomies, I'll tell you right now, you ain't ready for what's coming next. I wasn't. But I knew I wanted it. It's so weird. You know, I didn't have the courage to do it in my waking life, so I had to slip into an altered state of consciousness to do the stuff that I needed to do. And it expedited the process. It really did. But at what cost? My whole life falling apart before my eyes is such a slay. Really, though. Like, I mean that. I know I sound like I'm being funny, but, like, I look at where I'm at now, mentally, physically, emotionally, and oh my gosh, am I 10 times better off than where I was headed? You know what I'm saying? Like, It was like a huge pivot for me. And I knew I wanted it. I knew I wanted it. It was catalyzed at the time. My girlfriend at the time had said, like, you'd be a genius if you did psychedelics. She actually said acid, and I said, I don't want to do acid. I want to do the natural stuff from the earth. Because I'm like, oh. And so I went and I did it. I did a whole retreat, and girl, I learned shit that, honestly, the biggest message that I got from the whole thing was just like, girl, you know what's up. That's literally what I told myself. Like, the higher consciousness, whatever, however you want to call it, was like, you know what? Trust yourself. You know what's going on here. And I'm like, okay, yeah, I do. However, it has taken me, and I'm still integrating. That was 2021. Okay, I am still integrating. I want everybody to understand that integration takes forever. Integration takes forever. It doesn't have to take forever if you have support, community, friendships, love, people in your life that are going to help you. I didn't have that. I had friends, I had family, but their idea of what was right for me was not at all what my idea was what was right for me. And one of the things that is funny, and coming from this video, it's just so fascinating, and it really energized me to feel this joy of knowing that like videos like this exist. I can't believe that like this is a mainstream idea, because I was called absolutely crazy for having these ideas. Like, I went to the mental hospital and I tried to explain to the doctor that I had a consciousness shift and that I had this fantasy and that, like, you can jump timelines and astral project, and they're like, okay, bipolar. You know what I'm saying? Like, manic. And so people are so quick to put you in a box that it's actually laughable and funny, because, and I deal with this, or I shouldn't say deal with it, but I experienced this with my mom. My mom's in a wheelchair now. She's like disabled, and she has a speech impediment now that she had a brain surgery. I can't even imagine. Oh my goodness. And the people who don't see my mom often, they might have different ideas about who she is than the person I see continuously. And that's how it is when you go to a doctor, or you seek external help, or you seek an external permission slip from other people. They don't fucking know you. Your doctor doesn't know you. Your psychiatrist doesn't know you. Your therapist doesn't know you. They know what you tell them. So it's like, back to that example of the cow eating its own shit. They are experts in what they know. And I'm not saying you can't get that knowledge from them. Like, I spent years in therapy. I spent, a lot of money on different tools and resources to get me to where I am, and I'm not discounting any of that. However, if you think that they're going to tell you anything you don't already know about yourself, you're lying. Sometimes you have to get a perspective or a mirror, right? And that's kind of what I do with people. I hold up a mirror and say, this is what you're doing. This is what you're showing. Is this who you want to be? And it'll be scary if you're scared of yourself, which I was at the time, right? Like, I look in the mirror and I'm like, oh! What's up? You know what I'm saying? Scary! But at the end of the day, it's who you are, and you're always going to get more answers when you lean into yourself versus leaning out of yourself. And so I was perceived as crazy and a lunatic and absolutely bonkers. My sister especially thought I was absolutely wild, because I grew up in a family where we went to church, but we kind of didn't really believe in God. Like, my sister and I, like, we were like, okay, we'll go, we'll do it. I got confirmed, whatever. Sorry for the noise. But we didn't really believe in God, and I was super academic, super science, blah, 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 like atheist for the longest time. And one of the girlfriends that I had, like, didn't even believe in chiropractic medicine. She thought it was a pseudoscience, which maybe it is, I don't know. So I never believed in God. And so when I had this like huge awakening and come to Jesus moment where I was like, I'm talking to my spirit guides, I'm talking to my angels, I'm psychic, my sister was like, get this girl help. Because it's like, what the heck? But that's what happens when you do a Heroes Dose of Shrooms, is like shit just flies, because you're how do I describe it? Time is non-linear, right? So you're in a cocoon of this like plant medicine magic, and you're unfolding your cells and your DNA in a faster way than you could do in a waking state in this environment. So it's all about creating an inner landscape, an inner environment for you to come to new realizations and move through them faster. So that's what I did. I expedited my growth process by forcing myself into this new state of consciousness. However, and I've talked about this on my TikTok, when you go from person A to person B in a very, very short period of time, the people around you are like, she's crazy. Valid. And I'm not saying anybody's perspectives were not valid. It's just a representation of what they believed, right? So my sister, for example, she's not a believer. She doesn't believe in a higher power at this time. So she's going to think I'm wild. She's going to think I'm crazy. Just like people who, you know, don't believe in like dimensionality or whatever. They're going to think I'm crazy. And I'm not going to, so this is what happened. I was too insecure, like, because I was so new to this new consciousness of myself. Like, once you step into a new version of who you are, you're kind of like naked. Like, you like step into the world as a new person. Like, you're just reborn. Let's call it that. You step into the world and you're like, huh, are they gonna like me? Do they like me? And you start putting more, there's just a little bit more fear involved when you first start something new, right? So I started being a new version of myself, a version of myself that I was in love with. Oh my goodness. I loved myself more than I'd ever loved myself before, maybe too much, right? But nobody else was loving me. I can tell you that right now, like loving me for who I was. Like I was spreading light, I was spreading love, like a little fairy with pixie dust. And I didn't have at the time, what did me in literally was I didn't have any grounding practices. I didn't have any community. I didn't have anybody speaking my language, not one human being. Everybody was trying to tell me, like, to bring me down. Not bring me down. Well, actually, yeah, they were trying to bring me down. They were trying to bring down my consciousness, make me grounded. And I'm not saying, again, that any of those tactics are invalid. It was exactly the path I needed to take. However, what I recognize is like what I wanted at the time, which is to like see my true power. And nobody validated me. Nobody validated me. Like I had this fantasy and like, I just want you to know that everybody's a psychic medium. Everybody has the capacity to be a psychic medium. Have you noticed this? That like, there's like like psychic mediums are the new therapists of the future. You know, you go to a psychic, you channel the energy. That's the same thing as holding up a mirror and saying, do you see this? And psychics can't tell you anything that you don't already know. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, it's not this mystical thing. Some people are more clear channels because they've been doing it longer. They have more experience. They can get you the information clearer, crisper, in a better way. But ultimately, it's still information from you. You know what I'm saying? So when I went through my transformation, I realized that I could be a psychic. And I was like, that's so fucking cool. I want to be a psychic. That's amazing. Whoa. And again, people in my life were like, ooh, she's a psychic. That's weird because she wasn't a psychic yesterday. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, it's weird. It's weird. My journey has been absolutely bonkers. And I love it though. Like it's such a cool story to tell and I could tell it from a million different angles in a million different ways. And I think it's also really hard because like I said, I had no support and it does bring a lot of sadness within me because it's like, I think about the people and it's kind of a representative of the themes in my life, which is that I've always felt out of place in the system ever since I was younger. I question things like, why do we do it like this? I'm unhappy. Are you unhappy? You're unhappy too. Why are we doing it like this? Everybody's unhappy. Same thing with like the education system, the school system, all this stuff like this programming, this fucking gross shit that makes us all feel horrible about ourselves. Like I want you to know that we were born into this world and immediately felt horrible about ourselves. Like I was once a sweet little angel baby and then I was taught and programmed and told what to do, what to see, what to be. And now with the attention economy, it's more than ever, right? So being a conscious creator and being a conscious consumer is a full-time job, really, is what it is. But if you're spending a lot of time with people who are really plugged in, whether it not even technologically, but mentally, if they're running these limiting belief programs, self-esteem, feeling like they're not good enough, childhood wounds, whatever it is, whatever you have in your body is going to manifest. And I needed to go through more, I guess. Like I wasn't ready to step into the power of who I was a couple years ago. I was still so scared. And one of my biggest fears was being perceived as crazy, Like I hate the word. I don't use it really. I try to avoid it, but because nobody around me in my traditional life believed in this shit. This 45-minute video that I just watched that 10,000 people liked, that's totally valid and normal in this world. People told me I was crazy for saying, especially having the academic background that I could speak the science language to you. I could talk about nonlinear time and physics and blah, blah. That's a language I could speak, sure. But that's not the one I like. I'm so fun. I'm so playful. Like I said at the beginning of this video, like, why does everything have to feel like work? Why does everything have to be so hard? And so I've just started filming videos and just not giving a fuck. And honestly, it's so healing. And, you know, I've already lived my worst nightmare at the time. You know, like maybe I have a new nightmare and I did have that nightmare the other day. But my biggest nightmare was like being perceived as crazy because I've always wanted to be a public figure. I've always wanted to be well known. I've always wanted to share and express and love and commune and just love people. That's just always what I've been. That's always who I've been. And there just haven't been or haven't seen the opportunities available to me. And the opportunities will not be available to me unless I feel like I'm not scared to do it. And so my fear is, I'm going to be perceived as crazy. That's my fear. I'm giving it, I'm letting it leave my body by saying it, because it's like this video now, like there's another version of me who would be like, oh, Lana, you sound a little bit manic. Ooh, watch out with the word manic. It's like, oh, you sound a little manic. It's like, no, girl. Like, I remember I had this meeting once with this psychiatrist, and I was like, yeah, they thought I was like manic, but like, and I probably was at the time, like by the definition standards, just like how I can speak a million different languages. You can speak the mental health language, you can speak the physics language, you can speak the consciousness language, whatever. The mental health language is like, oh, you're manic. And I was sitting at my girlfriend's house at the time, and I was so calm, I was so relaxed, but I'm a fast talker. I'm an exuberant fast talker. I've always been. My mom used to call me Lana Loud as a kid. I'm a storyteller, I'm a fast talker, I'm a performer, I'm an entertainer. Some may call it ADHD or neurodivergent. Not that those terms are bad, I just don't like using them because it doesn't serve me. But, so, where was I going with that? Hold on. Oh yeah, it's a little triggering because when I lose my train of thoughts, because it's like, feels weird. People can perceive me. The psychiatrist that I met with at this time was like, yeah, I mean, I would probably write down that you're a little hypomanic right now. And I was like, are you fucking kidding me? Me being enthusiastic, excited to finally be seen and heard by a practitioner that I thought was going to align with my values. And he was like, yeah, you're hypomanic. I'm like, I'm just fucking excited to be here. Like, but you look at the paper and it says, oh, history of mania. So this must be it again. And that's what the paperwork fucking economy does, right? It's like you have your medical records and you go to a doctor and your doctor's like, well, it was this before, so maybe it's that again. And this is what I talked about in my previous video about prediction and data and all that shit, and how that like isn't really serving us anymore. So yeah, am I still scared of being perceived? The reason why now I'm scared of being perceived as, like, now that I have the validation from my TikTok following, like being totally authentic on the internet and seeing that other people resonate with what I'm saying, I'm not scared of the general public calling me crazy. I'm genuinely scared of being hospitalized or institutionalized again, because that was probably the worst experience of my life. I'm going to be real with you. Like, going from being in a PhD program, perceiving yourself as smart, everybody around you telling you you're smart, you're amazing, you're going to be doing great things, and then going to the mental hospital with other people who were also told that they're crazy, delusional, they need drugs to function, all these things that are just like horrible. I am still recovering from the psychological toll that being in an environment like that did. And now, granted, all of my preconceived notions had to heal. That's why I had to go, because like, if I didn't go and I didn't experience the mental hospital, which is called a behavioral health institution if you're PC, I did 2 tours. The first tour, I can talk about in another video, I don't have time to go into it, but I had to experience that in the way that I experienced it. Otherwise, my belief system wouldn't have shifted. Like, if I never experienced the mental hospital, I may still believe that it's a place of healing, but it's actually not. It's a tool for people who need it. It's a place for people to go who need it. I'm saying that there are many people who are misperceived and absolutely brainwashed. That's what I'm going to say. And it's like, we all know what it's like to be programmed, to be brainwashed in the education system, what other system? Netflix, like the media. We all know that we're being brainwashed and bamboozled, and we're all over it, right? So this was just another example of that. Is like, hey, remember all this shit that you were taught and you studied? Like, I studied psychology, right? Somebody who studied psychology is getting a PhD in psychology, ends up in the mental hospital. What do you mean? Like, what do you mean? How does that make sense? Like, make it make sense. And so I've had to make it make sense. And the time that I've spent reflecting, integrating, honoring, perceiving, and also sharing and getting feedback, what I've learned is that I'm not crazy, actually. This is a shared experience by many people. And, the people who put me there and the reason why I went there, oh my God, there was a reason. Like, I entered my neighbor's home. Like, that was not okay, right? Like, it was unlocked, but I entered my neighbor's home and I was acting crazy. So I get why people perceive me as crazy, but did anybody try to sit down and talk to me? And did anybody try to ground me? Did anybody try to do meditation with me? Did anybody try to bring me back to who I was as a person? No, because you want to know why? Nobody knew who I was. Only I did. And I had stepped into this new version of myself that nobody was ready to see, including myself. So I needed to go through that experience further to ground me. And what that did is it took me lower, only so that I can go higher in the future, which I'm really excited about, because like all of your experiences, and this is another human being that catalyzed this on YouTube, she talked about how, like, I feel bad that I forget her name because she's really, really impactful. So I'll maybe link it down below if I remember. She talked about how, oh, my dog's waking up. Now I forget. Oh, I'm so sorry. I forget what she was saying. It was really good too. I don't know, but the whole video that I watched today that she just posted was about like stepping into, she knows it's walk time, stepping into the truth of who you are, but you have to, like, sometimes you need an externalized permission slip. And I just wasn't ready to step into the truth of who I am. And this is what I was going to say. Every experience that you've been through, even the worst of it, like, you think of it like that pendulum, right? All the things have to happen. So if you're experiencing the worst experience of your life right now, I'm so sorry and I love you. But just know that that worst experience, that cavern, that depth, that like deep emotional, like, struggle and suffering and stress that you went through and that I went through is necessary for you to go where you want to go. And if I really wanted to create and do the things that I really wanted to do, I had to do what I had to go to the mental hospital. I had to enter my neighbor's home. I had to, like, be perceived as a crazy person. I had to have this consciousness shift. I had to leave my body. I had to experience God. I had to know I was God. I had to experience unity consciousness in my body, because I'm one of those girlies that's like, I literally was a girlie that was like, God isn't real, you guys are dumb. And so to go from God isn't real, you guys are dumb, I'm an atheist, to unity consciousness, we are all God, like, you have to really believe that shit. And I knew I need to believe it. And I'm somebody who needs evidence. I'm a science person. I grew up, like, having a science mind, and I studied it, and I know the scientific method. And I knew that I believe this, that I wasn't going to be able to do what I want to do unless I really fucking meant the things that I said. And in order to really fucking mean the things that you're saying, you have to live your life through experience and talk about your experience. So I can speak open and honestly in a resonant way with you about my experiences because they're mine and I went through them. I'm not just talking, I'm not in like an ivory tower writing about how mental institutions are not healthy and they don't, like, preserve the psyche, and I'm not doing that. No. What I'm doing is telling you about my experience. And when you feel something in your body, you will feel it too. And if you resonate with what I'm saying, I'm so excited. Welcome in. My dog's drinking water. She always drinks water when, like, I get excited, which is how I know we're super connected. Which tells me a lot because I have an aggressive dog. So what does that say about me, you know? But I had a lot of energy today. And sometimes, you know, you have a lot of energy and sometimes you have none. Yesterday, my video was like, hi guys, so today I want to talk about blah, blah, blah. That doesn't mean I'm a different person. It just means that energy ebbs and flows. Energy ebbs and flows. Yesterday I had a migraine, and migraines, what I'm learning more and more is that it's an energetic shift. And so if I have a migraine, it means that something needs to move, something needs to shake. And just like I talked about earlier, you need to go through chaos to get to the other side. Did I say that? I think I talked about that. I wrote it down. Chaos is necessary. So if things aren't making sense for you right now, if things are confusing and stressful, don't worry. Watch that video that says, like, October 24th is gonna be the day where, like, consciousness shifts. And it's not just one day. The planet is spinning faster. You guys know this scientifically, the planet is spinning faster. So the frequency is actually of the planet getting higher. And if you don't adjust with it, you're gonna feel more and more and more discomfort. So I'm just trying to vibe. I'm really just trying to vibe, really. And it's going incredibly. Things have gone so much better for me by just vibing and expressing the truth of who I am. And I'm just really excited to keep doing that. And I know I keep saying that, like people are like, oh, what, like when I streamed, like, what's your stream about? Like, what's your goal? Like, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, I'm gonna start a business, because I thought that was the way to build wealth. And maybe it is. but I just want to keep fucking expressing myself. Honestly, it's so fucking fun. Like, ever since I was little, like I said, I want to be a performer, a comedian, anything. Put me in front of an audience and I'm like, ah, I'm ready, you know? But you have to learn how to be yourself first, and you have to know how to feel confident in criticism. You have to be able to stand up and say that, no, like, this is what I fucking believe, and this is who I really fucking am. That takes a lot of fucking energy. It takes a lot of fucking... I'm swearing like a sailor in this video, but whatever. I'm really excited about life, and I think you should be too. And if you're not excited about life, reach out to me. Maybe I can help you. Or follow me on TikTok at Lana J. Dell. Follow me on Instagram at Lana J. Dell. Follow me on Threads at Lana J. Dell. And you can email me, lanajadereads@gmail.com. Thank you so much for being here. I love you. Subscribe if you're interested. Like, comment, subscribe. I was watching my old videos and I go, Lana out! And I try to get out of the frame. I did that in my first video and I just never stopped doing it. But I'm not going to bring it back. I'm just not, you know, even though I just did it. And Billy says it's time to go for a walk. So we're going to do that. And please, please, I'm begging you, comment. Comment, not because of the algorithm, but because I genuinely want to know. What do you want to know? I genuinely want to know who you are and if this resonates, because, you know, when you put stuff out on the... I wonder what I'm going to title it. I never know what to title these things, but whatever the title is, I hope it finds you. I hope that you feel blessed, and I hope that you feel resonant, and I hope that this video made you feel excited about your life. All right. Like, comment, subscribe. Love you.